For most of human history, cats were nearly invisible. Not because they could not be seen, but because they lived quietly at the edge of human life. Long before cats curled up on sofas, knocked cups from counters, or became online celebrities watched by billions, they survived alone across the dry grasslands and deserts of the Middle East and North Africa. They were small hunters, silent, patient, and almost perfectly designed for ambush. Unlike wolves, cats did not depend on teamwork. They did not hunt in organized packs, defend territory together, or build loyal groups around a leader. A wildcat survived through its own senses, its own timing, and its own ability to disappear before danger arrived. For thousands of years, humans paid little attention to them, because beside the enormous threats of the ancient world, a striped cat seemed unimportant. People feared wolves, bears, and large predators waiting beyond the firelight. Nobody looked at a small desert hunter and imagined its descendants living inside homes across most of the planet. Then humans unknowingly built the perfect world for cats. Around 12,000 years ago, human life began to change in a way that would reshape nearly everything. For most of our existence, people had lived as hunter-gatherers, moving across large landscapes in small groups, following animals, gathering plants, and searching for food. Gradually, in several regions, humans learned something revolutionary. They could grow food instead of endlessly searching. Farming encouraged people to remain in one place, build permanent settlements, and cultivate crops close to home. That change transformed civilization and created something the world had rarely seen. Enormous stores of food gathered in a single location. Grain-filled baskets, pits, rooms, and early storage buildings. There was enough to survive harsh seasons, enough to feed entire communities, and more than enough to attract rodents. First came mice, then rats, then rapidly growing populations living beside the grain. Picture an early village after sunset. Storage spaces packed with food, scratching inside walls, shadows between baskets, and supplies shrinking night after night. To people today, rodents are often treated as a nuisance. To early farming communities, they could become a disaster. A serious infestation might destroy the reserves needed to survive winter. And somewhere beyond the village, wildcats began to notice an extraordinary opportunity. Humans had gathered thousands of prey animals into one place. For a solitary predator, the first farming settlements looked like endless hunting grounds. A cat no longer needed to wander across dry country searching for scattered mice. Food now concentrated itself around human buildings. From a cat's point of view, the earliest villages were enormous rodent factories. So the boldest wildcats began moving closer, probably at night, probably with extreme caution. They watched from darkness, slipped between structures, and hunted beside grain stores. Eventually, humans noticed what these quiet visitors were doing. The small predators were reducing a dangerous problem. They were killing rodents, and they were doing it without needing to be trained. Unlike wolves, which humans later shaped into partners for hunting, guarding, and protection, cats entered human society through something far simpler: mutual advantage. Humans tolerated cats because cats protected food. Cats tolerated humans because human settlements produced prey. Neither side needed a plan. The arrangement worked. Over thousands of years, both species slowly adjusted to the presence of the other. Wildcats that remained calm near people gained easier access to food. Extremely fearful cats stayed farther away and lost that advantage. Generation after generation, natural selection quietly favored the animals most capable of living near people. Yet cats followed a very different path from dogs. Dogs changed dramatically through domestication. Their bodies shifted. Their behavior became cooperative, and they understood people better. Cats changed far less. Modern house cats remain remarkably similar to their wild ancestors. Much more similar than most dogs are to wolves. The African wildcat, widely linked to the ancestry of domestic cats, still looks surprisingly familiar. The essential predator remained recognizable, even after generations of living beside farms, ships, temples, villages, and modern households. If one crossed a neighborhood, many people would assume it was an ordinary tabby. In that sense, a house cat is still a small wild predator living under a human roof. Their behavior makes that clear. They stalk moving objects, attack feet beneath blankets, and watch birds for long stretches, and knock objects from tables while staring directly at the person who placed them there. Then, without warning, they race through rooms at impossible speed, apparently for no reason at all. Those behaviors are not random. They are ancient instincts surviving in a comfortable environment. Even play is disguised hunting practice. A cat chasing a toy is rehearsing the same sequence its ancestors used in the wild: watching, stalking, waiting, pouncing, biting, and releasing. Unlike dogs, cats never fully evolved around the idea of obeying humans. Dogs became specialists in cooperation. They read faces, follow gestures, seek approval, and respond to commands. Cats took another route. They discovered that human civilization was useful, moved into it, and kept much of their independence. This is why many researchers describe cats as animals that largely domesticated themselves. Humans did not reshape them as intensely as dogs. Cats entered settlements because the environment rewarded them, and humans allowed them to stay because their presence was useful. The arrangement succeeded, and cats spread wherever civilization spread. As agriculture expanded, cats moved along farms, villages, and trade routes. Then humans created yet another ideal cat habitat. Ships, ancient vessels carrying food, were constantly threatened by rats. Rodents spoiled supplies, damaged cargo, and helped spread disease. Sailors needed a solution, and cats were already experts. So people began taking them aboard. Suddenly, a small desert predator gained transportation across seas. Cats crossed regions and continents alongside merchants, sailors, and settlers. They reached Europe, Asia, and new parts of Africa. Wherever humans stored food, rodents appeared, and wherever rodents became a problem, cats became valuable. Over time, usefulness turned into admiration. In some cultures, cats gained a place far beyond the grain store. Nowhere was that transformation more dramatic than in ancient Egypt. Egyptians respected cats deeply, and harming one could bring severe consequences. Some accounts suggest households mourned dead cats deeply. Cats became linked with Bastet, the goddess associated with protection, fertility, and the home. Their images appeared in temples, statues, and domestic spaces. Later, archaeologists uncovered burial sites containing astonishing numbers of mummified cats. In some cases, millions. Consider the scale of that change. An animal once hidden in the desert had become spiritually significant to a powerful ancient civilization. Yet, even while being admired, cats still seem to carry themselves as though they belonged to no one. That distance may explain why humans became fascinated by them. Dogs often feel emotionally readable. Cats feel older, less predictable, and somehow connected to a world outside human control. Even today, people describe them as mysterious, intelligent, aloof, or impossible to understand, because cats still seem only partly absorbed into human society. Some part of them always appears to remain elsewhere. Their ancient instincts reveal themselves constantly. When a cat presses its paws repeatedly into a blanket, it may repeat the kneading motion kittens use while nursing. When it rubs against a person's legs, it is leaving scent from glands around its face and body. When it carries home a dead animal, it may be sharing prey, or demonstrating that the human household is not especially skilled at hunting, which says something about how cats may view us. Their communication changed as well. Adult cats rarely meow at one another in the wild. Yet domestic cats use meowing constantly around people. Over generations, they appear to have learned that particular sounds attract human attention. Some vocalizations may even resemble the urgency of an infant's cry, making them difficult for people to ignore. In other words, your cat may be influencing your behavior through sound. And the strategy has worked. Today, roughly 600 million domestic cats live alongside humans around the world. That makes them among the planet's most successful predators. Not because they are the strongest, not because they hunt in coordinated groups, and not because they submit easily to human control. Their success came from recognizing, in evolutionary terms, that human civilization offered shelter, prey, and opportunity. A solitary hunter from the desert quietly discovered the greatest survival system ever built and moved in. Now people purchase heated beds, automated litter boxes, climbing towers, expensive toys, specialty food, and entire pieces of furniture for animals that may ignore them for hours, then demand dinner at maximum volume. Despite thousands of years beside humans, cats retain unusual independence. Many can survive without direct human support when necessary. Feral populations can return to behavior resembling their wild ancestors within only a few generations. Suggesting cat domestication may still be incomplete. That is rare among domestic animals. Most domesticated species became deeply dependent on us. Cats simply became comfortable around us, perhaps attached, but never fully controlled. Dogs joined human society as working partners. Cats entered as opportunists, yet across thousands of years. Opportunity gradually became familiarity. Familiarity became trust. And trust became companionship. Tonight, somewhere inside a modern home, a descendant of ancient desert hunters will stretch across a bed, close its eyes, and sleep in complete safety, fully convinced that the house, the furniture, and the humans inside it all belong to the cat. And somehow, after 12,000 years, the cat distribution system is still working exactly as intended.